Have you ever noticed that the quiet ones see the most? They stand at the edges unnoticed, but their minds are capturing everything. The expressions, the pauses, the tones that others miss, all absorbed silently. This is the mind of an observer, a rare kind of intelligence that values perception over participation. Observers live in a world most people overlook. They see the gap between what's said and what's meant. They read truth in hesitation, fear in bravado, and stories in silence. They don't need to speak to understand. They understand because they listen. To the untrained eye, observers look detached. They seem distant, maybe even shy. But what they truly are is selective. They conserve energy for what matters, words for what's worth saying. While others rush to fill silence, observers study what silence reveals. Observation is a superpower disguised as stillness. It's the ability to see the mechanics of human nature without getting lost in it. Where most react, observers reflect. And in that reflection, they see the hidden motives behind behavior. The insecurities people hide, the intentions behind actions. They notice the rhythm of conversation, the subtle power shifts in a room, the emotion behind every micro-expression. But there's a price for seeing too much. Awareness can be isolating. The observer often carries truths others refuse to acknowledge. They know when someone is pretending to care, when kindness is transactional, when words are just noise. And that awareness makes the world feel transparent. Sometimes too transparent to bear. Observers feel everything, but rarely show it. They process emotions inwardly, translating chaos into understanding. When they hurt, they analyze. When they love, they observe the pattern of it. Its growth, its fragility, its triggers. That's why they seem calm even when storms rage inside. They've learned that reacting rarely brings clarity. The observer's peace comes from perspective. They see how temporary most conflicts are, how fleeting opinions can be. They've learned that what people project is often what they're trying to escape, so they don't take words at face value. They read intention, tone, consistency, the small details that define truth. But being an observer isn't just about reading others. It's also about reading yourself. Observers spend a lot of time watching their own mind. They notice how thoughts form, how emotions rise and fade. They can step outside their own reaction and see it like a passing cloud. That's what makes them powerful. Not dominance, but awareness. Yet awareness without boundaries becomes exhaustion. Observers can easily absorb the energy of others, their moods, their pain, their chaos. Without space to recharge, they burn out silently. That's why solitude isn't optional for them. It's essential. In solitude, they empty what they've gathered. They reset. They breathe. They reclaim their inner stillness. Many people misunderstand solitude as loneliness. But for an observer, solitude is clarity. It's the space where perception becomes insight, where they can finally process everything they've seen without interruption. Silence, to them, isn't empty. It's information. The modern world doesn't value observers enough. It rewards loudness, speed, reaction. But wisdom moves quietly. It doesn't need to announce itself. The observer may not lead conversations, but they often lead understanding. They see patterns long before others do. They anticipate outcomes, notice misalignments, and catch truths hidden beneath appearances. And yet being so aware can be lonely. Because once you see behind the curtain, it's hard to unsee it. You start noticing manipulation in kindness, agendas in generosity, emptiness in noise. The crowd that once felt comforting now feels exhausting. Not because you hate people, but because you see too clearly how unaware most of them are. Still, this clarity is not a curse. It's a calling. It asks you to live with eyes open but heart intact. To see deeply, but love anyway. To witness humanity's flaws without surrendering hope. That balance. Awareness with compassion is what turns observation into wisdom. If you're an observer, you might feel invisible sometimes. People talk over you, overlook you, underestimate you. But remember, the loudest voice isn't always the wisest. And when chaos fades, It's the observer who's left holding understanding. Your silence isn't weakness. It's precision. You speak only when words can serve clarity. The observer's gift is perspective, and perspective is power. Because when you can see without reacting, you gain freedom. You stop being controlled by every emotion, every opinion, every wave of noise. You start to understand that life reveals itself fully only to those patient enough to watch. The world needs observers now more than ever. People who can see beyond division, beyond drama, beyond distraction. People who remind others that silence still has value, that thinking before speaking is a virtue, that understanding before judgment is wisdom. So if you're one of the quiet ones, don't apologize for it. Don't try to be louder, faster, or more visible. Your calm is your clarity. Your stillness is your strength. Keep watching, keep learning, keep feeling deeply, even if you notice it. Because one day, when the noise burns itself out, the world will look for the quiet ones again, and you'll be ready. Not because you were the loudest, but because you were the one who saw.